that involved the death
Excuse
of
me,
only
Miss.
18. Yes,
Excuse me, Mr. Levine. Mr. Ball, why do you rise?
Speaker, will the speaker yield?
Will you yield, Mr. Levine?
yes, I will.
Go ahead.
Sir, just very quickly, I just have a question with your familiarity and relationship, long-standing with, as you just explained, with terrorists. From their
I'm not
view,
sure I know what you mean by long-standing, Mr. Ball, but I would appreciate your clarification on that issue. But I will
well,
clarify.
I would actually appreciate your clarification.
All right, let me
on that
clarify
issue
it
as a
for
new
you.
member.
I was ordered by the United States District Court, the Chief Judge of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, to represent someone charged in a trial that involved Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman.
And
As much as I was afraid, Mr. Ball, for your edification, of the consequences that could flow from that, because after all, perhaps I could never be elected to office after that experience,
Sure.
I can assure you I was much more afraid of the Chief Judge of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York.
I'm personally afraid for the security of the United States.
Well,
and
you're
men,
not
women,
the
and
only
children.
one, Mr. Ball.
No doubt. Sir, I have just a quick question. Do you feel that a terrorist would be more likely to go purchase a .50 caliber weapon at Dick's Sporting Goods, or would he do that illegally to limit the ability to trace it back?
You know, the guys who blew up the World Trade Center in 1993 went to local florists and gardening shops in order to purchase the fertilizer that they used to murder 6 people
Well, sir, now-
and almost bring that building down.
Now, the
back in
availability of fertilizer is a little bit
Mr.
different than a
Mr.
.50
Ball,
caliber, correct, sir?
Mr. Ball,
Mr. Ball, let him finish, please.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank you for interrupting while I'm speaking.
I'm very sorry, sir.
I doubt that with great sincerity, but please continue. But Mr. Ball, let me sort of try to save you some questions, and if you'll allow me to continue for just
Sir,
a
on the
couple
50
seconds,
calibers?
I think I can give you some more ammunition to use. But go ahead.
Specifically on a .50 caliber weapon, do you feel that a terrorist or any other illicit or illegal enterprise or organization directed thereof would be more likely to purchase a weapon legally where it could be more easily traced or illegally, and therefore this very piece of legislation would only impinge and infringe upon the rights of those who currently follow the law legally anyway?
Mr. Ball, let me disabuse you of the rational thought process that you might ascribe to those who want to kill you and me and everybody else in this country.
And themselves.
They could, if they have to, only if they have to, they could care less if they get something, by your definition, legally or illegally. Let me read to you something that goes, that's actually part of Barrett Firearms Manufacturing's brochure advertising its 82A1 .50 caliber sniper rifle. Quote, "The cost effectiveness of the model 82A1 cannot be overemphasized when a round of ammunition purchased for less than $10 US can be used to destroy or disable a modern jet aircraft. If the interest is in killing us or in bringing down an aircraft." Oh, and by the way, for those of you who think that this sort of a round, you needn't worry, Mr. Ball, it's not live. But for those of you who think that a live round of a .50 caliber cannot bring down an airplane, I think it was just a little more than a year ago, that some fellow, I believe out in Albuquerque.
Excuse me, Mr. Levine. Mr. Kolb, why do you rise?
Madam Speaker, I believe it's inappropriate in the House to use any, shall we say, props in the debate process, and I would encourage you to ask Mr. Levine to put that particular object away.
All right.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I doubt very much that it is inappropriate, but in order to calm Mr. Kolb's fears, I will put this toy away.
Madam Speaker.
Hold it, everyone. Mr. Levine, it's not appropriate for you to characterize Mr. Kolb in any way.
He has my apology.
Okay? Just everyone calm down and let's get back to the debate at hand.
And, Madam Speaker, for the record, Mr. Kolb was right on the ruling.
Yes, he was
So-
absolutely correct about any.
Thank you.
Sir, will you just yield for one more question?
And I just want to say that I truly do regret that.
Sir, will you yield for one more question?
At least.
Okay. Now, I just want to get this straight. Now, I understand that the reason why this is being presented, at least in part on behalf of the sponsor and being supported by yourself, is we don't want a tragedy to happen. And we want to outlaw the .50 caliber so we can make sure that the .50 caliber is never used. And then you mentioned the planes. Would you support legislation? Did you ever support legislation to outlaw planes before that tragedy occurred or since that tragedy?
I don't think I've done that since I'm an adult.
Yeah. Well, as an adult, if we could get back to the other question, which was never answered, which is, would a terrorist organization be more likely to do it, to purchase the .50 caliber legally and illegally? And if you can just give me one more.
They've been outlawed in the European nations. So excuse me, I'm sure. How many Al Qaeda members have you spoken with, Mr. Ball?
Sir, if I ever spoke if I ever spoke to an Al Qaeda member, that Al Qaeda member would not live to see the next day. And if I can, the reason why I asked you,
Mr. Ball,
sir, if you would just for 1 second, you said that they could care less whether they purchased the .50 caliber legally or illegally. Well, let me tell you something. In my opinion, I ask you to comment on this.
they could care
They
less.
care about killing people.
They could care
and if
less.
it's easier for
Mr.
them
Levine,
to do
let him
something
finish.
illegally,
I thought he had.
Okay.
if it is more likely that they will successfully be able to carry out their plan by doing something illegally, which it most likely is, they're not likely to go to Dick's Sporting Goods and pick up a .50 caliber. You're going after hunters, you're going after sportsmen, and this is a charade. Yesterday, you had the opportunity to vote for the death penalty for cop killers and terrorists, and you and many of your colleagues voted against it. This morning, a trooper was shot in the head and killed, 29 years old. If you want to go against criminals, I will stand with you to hang every cop killer from the nearest pike. But until we focus on getting guns out of the hands of criminals and going against criminals, this is all an illusion, and this body should be condemned.
We usually don't hang people from the nearest pike in New York anymore. But if you do want to get involved in that,
Mr. Ball.
glad to go and watch you. And if the
Excuse me, Mr. Levine. Excuse me. I think you're getting all of you are getting a little bit too passionate. And I think you need to calm down, address your comments to the chair.